Hey there. So often at the end of the year, you see this. I mean, you've probably seen it, where you'll see an ad on television for a car, and they'll say, all right, on the new Civic, either $1,000 cash back or 0% financing for 36 months. As soon as you have to trade between taking some money back or getting free financing, the financing really isn't free, because they're telling you that you can pay less if you don't receive financing. It puts you in an interesting situation because maybe you need to borrow the money. You don't have the $22,000 to buy the Honda Civic, right? And so you need to borrow the money somehow. So you think to yourself, well, I'll just forego that discount and I'll use the free financing. But an interesting thing is that it often can be cheaper to borrow money from someplace else, like your bank or a local credit union. So let's look at an example. Let's say that we're looking at a car with a sticker price of $25,000. Right? And that's the car price. It's the price that's on the sticker, right? But if you're going to pay for the car cash up front, you can take a $2,000 discount. However, if you look at our example here, we've got a couple things going on. On the left-hand side, we're going to look at the price, our cash back, and then the amount that we would pay for the car, which is going to be the new car price less any cash back. Then you'll have some down payment, and so you'll finance some portion of the car, right? Usually not all of it, at a specific interest rate. Maybe it's 0%, maybe it's 5%, right? We'll figure that out for a certain number of months, and we'll calculate the monthly payment. So if you're buying from the dealer and you're taking advantage of their financing, you're going to need to pay the whole $25,000, right? $25,000 minus no cash back, right? If I grab this and take it to the side, if you borrow from the bank and take the cash from the bank to the car dealer, they give you the $2,000 discount. So your car price is $2,000 less. It's $23,000. So let's make a couple more assumptions. Let's say that you've saved $7,500. So you don't need to borrow the whole amount of money. If you borrow from the dealer, you need to finance $25,000 minus $7,500. You need to finance $17,500. And if you borrow from the bank, you need to finance $23,000 minus your $7,500. So you need to finance $1,500. So if you borrow from the dealer, you have to borrow more because you aren't getting the cash back. But if you borrow from the bank and then take that cash to the dealer, they call it cash and they give you that discount. But here's the clincher, right? The car dealer's trip is offering you 0% financing, where you go to your bank and they want 4%. And in either case, you're going to have 36 months, otherwise known as 3 years, to pay back your loan. So let's look at our monthly payment under each of those two circumstances. We're going to use Excel's payment function. Our payment is going to be based on an annual interest rate of 0% divided by 12 because we're getting monthly payments, so we need to calculate the monthly rate. Our number of payments is 36 for our 36 months, and the present value is the $17,500 that they're going to loan you today. If I enter it as a negative number, it makes my payment come out as a positive number. So our monthly payment is going to be $486.11. Well, what about borrowing at 4% from your bank? We can calculate that payment. We're going to be paying 4% per year. I'm going to divide that interest rate by 12 to get my monthly interest rate for 36 months. And I'm going to borrow $15,500. By entering that number as a negative number, I get a positive payment. So we can see right away that our monthly payment is going to be less when we borrow from the bank, even though we're paying interest. And it's because we have to pay less for the car. So let's compare something else. Over the life of that loan, we're going to make $17,500 in payments if we have a 0% loan. And that makes perfect sense because we paid no interest. Our monthly payment is simply equal to the amount financed divided by 36. And if we borrow from the bank, we're going to make $457.62 payments for 36 months. So we're going to make $16,474 in payments. So what we can see is that by taking this $2,000 discount, we have to pay interest, but that the total value of that interest is not as much as that discount we would have to forego. So while with our example with 0% financing, we pay no interest, and we pay $974 in interest with the bank loan, because $974 in interest is less than that cash back we'd have to give up. We're better off with the loan from the bank. Does that mean we're always going to be better off with the loan from the bank? No way. It's going to differ based on the size of the discount and the interest rate that the bank gives us. If we had an interest rate of 5% at the bank, that changes things. Not so much that we can't afford to take that bank loan and receive that discount. But if the situation were different, where we received a $1,000 discount for purchasing from the bank, we would end up paying more for the car with the bank loan over time. So we can tell basically by looking at our monthly payment and the total amount of payments that we would make over time and comparing the relative value of that interest that we'll pay to the discount that we would receive, we can tell what's going to be a better deal. I'll set this back to our original example. So every time you face a situation like that, you have to take it on an individual basis, but hopefully the tools shown in this tutorial will help you figure out how to calculate what the best deal is going to be for you.